They think you're just being nice. But they have no idea what it costs you to stay that way. That smile of yours, it's not just a gesture of grace. It's a quiet monument built upon the storms you've survived. Your patience, it's not weakness. It's the weight of every unspoken disappointment you've carried with unshakable dignity. And your gentle words, they are not born of naivety, but of a heart that has been shattered, rebuilt, and taught to love again in silence. Virgo, the world often mistakes your softness for surrender. But I see you. Beneath that calm, there's a spirit forged in fire, a soul that learned how to turn pain into compassion. You don't speak of your battles, because you've made peace with them. You don't wear your scars, because you've turned them into wisdom. That's the thing about your kindness, it isn't performative, it's sacred. It's the language your soul learned after years of surviving what others never saw. Your kindness is not submission. It's your divine rebellion against a world that once tried to harden you. And maybe, just maybe, that's why people are drawn to your light. They sense something ancient, something unbreakable beneath your silence. So tonight, as you listen, I want you to let these words sink deep. You are not kind because life was easy on you. You are kind because you refuse to let it destroy you. This is your quiet power, the kind that doesn't roar, but transforms everything it touches. Take a deep breath. Feel it. That calm you bring into every room? It's not peace you found, it's peace you became. Type in the comments, my kindness is my divine strength. Because it is. And it always has been. You're watching Mindfulness Meditation, a sanctuary for souls like yours, where healing begins not in grand gestures, but in gentle remembering. Before we begin this journey deeper into Virgo's hidden strength, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every act of connection helps us create more spaces like this, safe, mindful, and filled with light. Now, settle in. Let the noise fade. Let's uncover what your softness has been trying to tell you all along. Virgo, the honey born from fire. You walked through fire and came out carrying honey instead of ashes. That's the essence of Virgo, the quiet alchemy of turning pain into light. Most people see your calm and think it came naturally. They never saw the storms that shaped it. They see your patience and assume it's just your temperament. They don't realize it's a discipline forged through disappointment, loss, and the long nights when you had to teach your own heart how to stay soft in a world that wasn't kind. Virgo, you are the healer who never asked to be one. The world handed you fragments, and you made mosaics. It gave you wounds, and you learned to suture them with grace. That is your power, not the absence of pain, but the ability to cradle it without letting it poison you. There's something profoundly sacred about the way you love. Not loudly, not desperately, but with the precision of someone who has learned that true love is service, not performance. You love through actions, through the way you remember small details, through the quiet reliability that others mistake for simplicity. But make no mistake, your heart is a temple, and not everyone deserves to step inside. When I think of Virgo energy, I think of candlelight, not the roaring flame that blinds, but the steady glow that never goes out. You've learned how to sustain light even in darkness. That's what makes you unforgettable. You don't fight the storm anymore, you've become the calm within it. In psychology, there's something called transformative suffering, the idea that pain, when met with awareness, doesn't just wound, it refines. Virgo embodies that principle more than any other sign. You've been through things that could have made you bitter, but instead, they made you luminous. You didn't escape your pain, you metabolized it into compassion. You learned to listen deeply, not just to others, but to the silences within yourself. Your sweetness is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's restraint. It's the understanding that being kind doesn't mean being blind, and forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. There's a subtle strength in you that the loud ones never notice, a kind of spiritual endurance that outlasts chaos. Maybe you've noticed it too, how life keeps testing the depth of your softness. Every betrayal, every misunderstanding, every unspoken goodbye, each one asking, will you harden now? Will you close your heart? And every time, you refused. You stayed open. You stayed honest. You stayed human. That's not naivety. That's mastery. The truth is, the universe often chooses Virgo as its vessel for quiet miracles. You're the one who absorbs collective pain and filters it into understanding. You sense what others can't articulate. You repair what others abandon. You are the keeper of invisible order, the cosmic custodian who brings beauty to broken systems. And yet, here's the paradox. Those who carry light often feel unseen. But remember this, the candle doesn't need applause to keep burning. Its purpose is illumination, not recognition. Virgo, you were never meant to shine for others. You were meant to remind them how to shine within themselves. So when you feel tired, when your heart feels stretched thin from carrying too much empathy, pause. Not to give up, but to remember. The same universe that entrusted you with this sensitivity also built you strong enough to bear it. You are both healer and human, allowed to rest, allowed to say no, allowed to be imperfect. If I could whisper something into the soul of every Virgo tonight, it would be this. Your gentleness is not your disguise, it's your crown. You don't need to roar to be powerful. Your quiet truth shakes worlds in ways noise never could. Type it with conviction, like a prayer that seals the energy you've reclaimed. I turn my pain into wisdom, my silence into strength, and my heart into light. Because that's what you've always done, Virgo. You walked through fire, and somehow, you emerged carrying honey. And that is the most divine magic of all. The weight of light, Virgo's journey from compassion to clarity. There comes a moment, Virgo, when the light you've carried for others begins to burn your own hands. When your compassion, once your proudest gift, starts to feel like a quiet exhaustion. You've spent years being the calm in other people's storms, the steady hand when the world trembled around them. But who steadies you? Who holds space for the healer when their own heart begins to ache? You've built your life upon kindness, and the world, oh, it loves you for it. They come to you because you listen, because you care, because you always find the right words to soothe what's broken. But what they don't see is the cost. The long nights where you lie awake replaying conversations, wondering if you did enough. The moments you swallow your own pain because someone else's seems heavier. The way your silence has become the currency with which you purchase peace for others. There's a sacred beauty in your patience, Virgo, but even sacred things need rest. And sometimes, what you call compassion is really fatigue wearing a gentle mask. You love deeply, you give endlessly, and yet beneath that grace, your soul whispers, I am tired. This is the quiet truth most won't tell you. Not everyone deserves your light. Not everyone is meant to drink from the well of your empathy. Because when you pour without pause, you begin to disappear. Sweetness without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice. You start mistaking depletion for devotion. You confuse endurance with love. But let's pause here, Virgo. Because this is where the awakening begins. You are not meant to dim, but you are meant to discern. The universe never asked you to be endlessly giving. It asked you to be authentically radiant. And radiance cannot exist without protection. Your heart, as tender as it is wise, has been sculpted by storms. You've learned to survive in silence, to rebuild quietly after every betrayal, to smile through the ache of being misunderstood. But the time has come to turn that same compassion inward. To offer to yourself what you've always offered the world. Patience, forgiveness, and care. The exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It's a divine signal, a message from your higher self that says, it's time to come home. Home to your own energy. Home to the space where giving and receiving are in balance. Home to a truth so often forgotten. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect your peace, even from those you love. There's a quiet revolution happening within you, Virgo. A shift from being the caretaker of others' emotions to the guardian of your own spirit. The soft voice inside you that once whispered, it's okay, is now learning to say, it's enough. And that, too, is an act of love. Look around. The world has taught you that light must always shine outward. But the stars, too, rest in darkness. Even the moon disappears so it can be renewed. So why should you feel guilty for needing space to breathe, to be unseen, to be only with yourself? This isn't withdrawal. It's recalibration. It's you returning to your sacred rhythm. It's you remembering that the same heart that heals others is worthy of healing itself. Virgo, your light has always been divine. But now, it's time for that divinity to protect you. Let the energy that once held everyone else now hold you. Let your kindness become your boundary. Let your empathy become your mirror. You are not losing your compassion, you are refining it. You are no longer the candle that burns out to keep others warm. You are the sun that sustains by being whole. So breathe deeply. Feel that warmth return to your center. This is not the end of your giving, it's the rebirth of your grace. The version of you that rises from this awareness will not just be kind, it will be clear, calm, and unshakably powerful. Because your light, Virgo, was never meant to be consumed. It was meant to illuminate, with intention, with wisdom, and with love that finally includes you. Now take a moment. Whisper softly to yourself, "My compassion is sacred, but it begins with me." And if these words find a place in your heart, type it below, "My kindness is my divine strength." You are watching Mindfulness Meditation, where every story is a mirror of the soul. Like, share, and subscribe if this message resonates with your journey, so that more souls like yours can remember. Being gentle does not mean being invisible. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to rest in your own light. Virgo, the sacred boundaries of kindness. There comes a moment in every Virgo's life when silence begins to speak louder than sacrifice. When the soft heart that once endured everything starts to whisper, "No more." You've spent years believing that kindness meant saying yes to every demand, every apology that came too late, every person who mistook your patience for permission. You carried others as if their survival depended on your endurance. You gave until your light flickered, until you began confusing compassion with self-erasure. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, eventually intervenes. It begins to dismantle the illusion that love equals suffering. And that's when the awakening begins. Stop setting yourself on fire just to keep others warm. That sentence may sting, but it's a truth that Virgo's soul knows too well. You've mistaken the ashes for proof of love. You believe that if you just gave a little more, your time, your peace, your forgiveness, then maybe they'd understand your worth. But that kind of giving doesn't heal, it empties. Virgo, your heart was never meant to be a hearth for everyone's coldness. It was meant to be a lantern, guiding, glowing, but never burning itself out. The difference between kindness and self-destruction lies in the boundary, that sacred invisible line where love for others meets love for self. And boundaries, contrary to what the world told you, are not walls. They are doors with locks that only open for those who knock with respect. This is the turning point of the Virgo soul, the spiritual revolution that transforms the servant into the sovereign. You start to see that being gentle doesn't mean being available to every form of chaos. You start to understand that peace is not a byproduct of endurance, but a conscious act of protection. In mythology, even the healers knew their limits. Asclepius, the god of medicine, was struck down when he tried to save everyone, because even divine compassion must answer to balance. The lesson was clear: to honor life, you must also honor your own. And so, Virgo, your kindness must evolve. It must grow roots, not just wings. You were never meant to be the world's emotional first responder. You were meant to teach the world what true service looks like: grounded, wise, and sustainable. True kindness doesn't require you to bleed. It requires you to be present without losing yourself. There's something profoundly powerful about saying no from a place of love. It's not rejection, it's preservation. It's choosing not to water the same desert hoping it will bloom. It's understanding that empathy without discernment becomes self-betrayal. Every time you choose yourself, you are not abandoning others. You are showing them what responsibility looks like. You are teaching that love can exist without depletion, and that boundaries are the language of mature compassion. I often think of Virgo as the caretaker of light, a soul born to maintain harmony in places others neglect. But even the keeper of the flame must rest. Even the lighthouse must endure storms without mistaking them for its purpose. There's a quiet power in learning to say, "I can love you, but I cannot save you. I can forgive you, but I will not forget myself." These are not declarations of distance, they are affirmations of alignment. This is the Virgo who has learned to stand in divine equilibrium, firm yet tender, compassionate yet unyielding. If you listen closely, you'll hear it, that subtle shift in your own energy. The tremble of someone who no longer confuses exhaustion with love. The calm of a heart that has stopped apologizing for its boundaries. The grace of a soul that finally knows its worth is not measured by its ability to endure. Kindness is sacred, Virgo. But it was never meant to cost your peace. So when the world asks you to dim your light so others can feel comfortable in their shadow, decline the invitation. Shine anyway. Because this time, your kindness will no longer be the reason you suffer. It will be the reason you are free. The season of return, Virgo, and the sacred harvest of light. Virgo, the universe has been watching. Every quiet kindness you've given, every time you offered warmth while no one noticed, every act of grace you performed without applause, they've all been recorded in a language older than time. Heaven keeps records. Not the kind written on paper or stone, but etched into the pulse of energy itself. And those records, they never forget. You see, the universe doesn't reward in haste. It rewards in rhythm. It waits until the heart that gave without expectation has matured enough to receive without guilt. This, Virgo, is the sacred harvest. The season when the seeds you planted in silence, your patience, your integrity, your compassion, begin to bloom, not because you demanded them to, but because it's time. Divine time. You've spent years wondering if the good you did ever mattered. Whether the people who hurt you ever understood. Whether the love you gave so freely ever truly returned. But the universe operates with precision beyond comprehension. It knows when to close a chapter and when to open a gate. The same way autumn never rushes spring, your blessings arrive exactly when your spirit can hold them. Imagine, for a moment, a field stretching endlessly before you, not of soil, but of light. Each glowing seed represents something you once gave away without expecting anything back. A kind word. A forgiving gesture. A choice to remain soft when the world was cruel. Those seeds didn't vanish into the void. They were sown into the spiritual earth, tended by unseen hands. And now, the season shifts. The air changes. The ground begins to shimmer. The harvest of your goodness begins. I've always believed, Virgo, that gentleness is the universe's most underestimated force. Empires rise and fall, voices shout and fade, but kindness, quiet, consistent kindness, it endures. It travels through generations. It heals wounds it never saw. It bends the course of fate. You may have thought your softness made you vulnerable. But in truth, it made you eternal. Every soul that crossed your path, every situation that tested your patience, became a part of your sacred apprenticeship with grace. You weren't being punished, you were being refined. Like gold in fire, your spirit was learning to separate what glitters from what truly glows. Now, you stand at the edge of something magnificent, not a miracle granted by chance, but one earned by light. Let me tell you something that even the ancient mystics understood. Energy never disappears, it transforms. Every good deed, every loving thought, every moment you chose peace over pride, they circulate through the cosmic current until they find their way back to you, magnified. So when unexpected blessings begin to unfold, a door reopening, a sudden peace, a long-awaited opportunity, don't be surprised. This is the universe balancing its books. You were never forgotten. You were simply being aligned. And this alignment, it's not just about receiving rewards. It's about understanding why the waiting was necessary. You needed to grow into the kind of soul that could hold abundance without fear, love without losing itself, shine without apology. What's coming is not compensation, it's recognition. The universe saying, I saw what you did when no one was watching. And now, it's your turn. This is the moment, Virgo, when gentleness stops being a burden and becomes a crown. The energy you once used to heal others now circles back to heal you. Your softness has become strength. Your silence has become wisdom. Your patience has become prophecy. Look around. The signs are subtle but sacred. Synchronicities. Dreams that feel like memories. People returning, not to test you, but to witness who you've become. These are the first breezes of your harvest season. Don't rush them. Let them unfold. Let them remind you that goodness, even when forgotten by man, is never lost in the eyes of heaven. So tonight, as you breathe, place your hand over your heart and whisper, my time has come. My light returns. Because it does. Type it below if you feel it. My kindness is my divine strength. Return to stillness, the sacred completion of Virgo's journey. There's a silence that comes after every storm, not empty, not hollow, but holy. It's the kind of stillness that only those who have walked through fire can understand. Virgo, you've reached that moment. The air around you feels softer now, as if the universe itself has exhaled with relief. You've carried light through darkness, and now, at last, the light carries you. Stand before the mirror for a moment. Look closer. What do you see? Not the tired eyes or the quiet lines carved by years of holding everything together. Look beyond that. You'll find a masterpiece sculpted by grace, a soul who has learned to bloom through restraint, to speak softly even when the world shouted, to heal others without letting bitterness take root. That reflection is not fragile. It's divine. You, Virgo, are living proof that gentleness can survive the storm, and not just survive, but transform it. You've spent years believing your kindness was something small, something ordinary, something people could take or leave. But now you know, your sweetness isn't decoration, it's architecture. It's the foundation upon which your entire spiritual evolution was built. Every act of mercy, every silent forgiveness, every time you refuse to match someone's cruelty, it all formed the pillars of the person you are now. This is what the return to stillness feels like, a quiet homecoming to your true nature. No more proving, no more pleasing, no more overextending. Just being. Just existing as the sacred energy you've always been. The same softness they once misunderstood has become your shield. The same patience that drained you now restores you. You are not trying to heal anymore, you are healing itself. The ancients used to say that when a soul completes a karmic cycle, the world around them begins to sound different. The birdsong feels familiar. The breeze carries memories of past lives. Even time seems to slow, not to delay you, but to honor you. Because peace is not the absence of struggle, it's the crown earned by those who learned how to love in spite of it. Virgo, you've done your part. You've given what needed to be given, forgiven what needed to be released, and learned what your spirit came here to understand. You no longer need to chase understanding. You are the understanding. The lessons that once hurt you now orbit you like rings of light. You have become your own sanctuary. So take this moment as a sacred pause, not an ending, but a completion. Feel the stillness settling in your bones, like sunlight after rain. This is the balance the universe promised you. The circle has closed, and yet, the energy continues, quieter, wiser, eternal. Now, return to the words that began this journey. You don't even realize how sweet you are. But you should. Because that sweetness, the tenderness, the patience, the mercy, it was never a weakness. It was your superpower all along. It was the reason storms bowed before you and left you untouched in spirit. You are no longer the one holding on. You are the one who has let go, with grace, with faith, with love. The light within you no longer needs to fight for space. It is the space. It fills every corner of who you are and expands outward, touching everything you meet with quiet divinity. So tonight, as this chapter closes, whisper it once more, not as a mantra, but as a truth you now embody. My kindness is my divine strength. Say it again if you feel it. Type it below to seal the energy into being. Because when words are spoken from healed hearts, they don't just echo, they create. The circle is complete, Virgo. You have walked through pain, through awakening, through rebirth, and now you return to stillness. Not as who you were, but as who you've always been, light, calm, infinite. This is the peace you were born to remember. And now, you finally do. Breathe, Virgo. Rest your heart for a moment. You've walked through storms that few could survive, yet here you are, softer, wiser, and still kind. What began as exhaustion has become illumination. The same tenderness that once felt like a burden has turned into your divine armor, the quiet proof that love never breaks, it transforms. This is the stillness after the storm. The place where your spirit exhales. Every tear, every silent act of grace, every time you chose compassion over pride, it all mattered. The universe kept the record. And now, it is rearranging itself to honor your heart. The energy you poured into others is finding its way back to you, refined, multiplied, sacred. Peace will return not as a visitor, but as a permanent guest. You remained kind when cruelty was easy, Virgo. You chose to heal instead of harm, to forgive instead of close your heart, and that choice alone changed your destiny. That is how heaven defines courage. The strength to stay gentle in a world that forgot how to be. You may not realize it yet, but you have become a living blessing. Every soul you touched carries a spark of your light, and that light will return to you in ways beyond measure. So breathe again. Let your shoulders drop. The war is over. You've proven that goodness is never wasted, that purity of heart is power in disguise. Your kindness was never weakness, it was divine wisdom wearing a human face. And now, before this chapter closes, affirm what your spirit already knows. Type these words in the comments. My kindness is my divine strength. Let heaven hear it. Let your own soul remember it. Because the journey has brought you full circle, from pain to peace, from doubt to knowing. You don't even realize how sweet you are, Virgo. But heaven does. The crown of light above you has been earned, not given. The universe has seen your heart, and it is time the world does too. Return to your stillness now, not as the one who suffered, but as the one who became light itself.